The earliest writing device I found is the Chinese writing brush. It was probably widely used around 221 BC. A Chinese brush has two parts, the head and the shaft. The head, which is the brush part, was usually made from animal hairs, such as goat, wolf, or rabbits. The shaft is usually made from bamboo or precious material, such as ivory and jade. It was widely used for ink painting and calligraphic. Egyptian has different approach for the writing device. They create reed pen. Ancient Egyptians used reed pen made from silage to write on papyrus. Each of them was cut about 10 inch and given a slant tip, which was crushed into a sort of brush to spray the ink. Similar to Chinese writing brush, Egyptians create a soft material for penning. This is the Egyptian pen brush. It was made from the soft inner material of papyrus reed. The inner part was cut into thin strips, laid across each other, and tied into a rod. However, reed pen does not get popular because it is very fragile. So quill pen came in replace of the reed pen. The ancient Egyptian will use a larger wings or tail feather from a larger bird. The skilled writer could produce a final line with this quill pen. However, the quill pen can produce a final line, but there is so much work to dipping the quill pen in ink so you can write and draw something. From this point, people start to invent material that is good for ink to spray on the sheet to write. With the sole, two-part quill was invented. The two-part quill pen was invented in 1803. The steel pen was patented by Brian Donkett, and the metal nibs pen had become the standard icon for two-part quill pen. The two-part quill pen does not really solve the problem of the storage of the ink, because you still have to dip back into the ink bottle to spread out the ink. So the fountain pen was invented in 1876. Kaelin and Wine received a patent for the fountain pen with the ink chamber. Their design became very influential for a great number of changes in how the ink was stored and used. With the knowledge of the fountain pen, the stylography pen was invented in 1875. The stylography pen had a metal tube with a wire inside to keep control of the ink flow. They became one of the most popular or first popular fountain pen and is often used today in drafting. Another stylography pen was invented in 1883. It was like an enhancement of the Stanley pen that created in 1875 on the last slide, but most of them carry like a same feature. You have to refill the pen by yourself like several times to make sure you have enough ink to write or draw. The inventor in this period trying to solve the problem of how to refill the pen in many different ways, such as this level filling pens in 1907, created by Walter A. Schaeffer. He patented this level filling pen, which was used a lever to send ink into pen. After so many iterations come from so many inventors, finally a very different approach of how to solve the ink storage inside of the pen came out. This pen was created in 1940s. It's called ballpoint pen, created by John J. Lau. Lau's pen had a small rotating steel ball held in place by the socket. In the patent, he noted, "My invention consists of an improved resolver of fountain pen, especially useful, among other purposes, for marking on rough surface such as wood, coarse wrapping paper, and other articles where an ordinary pen could not be used." Although his invention was a very new approach to solve the problem, and it could use to mark on a rough surface such as leather, but as he originally intended, it proved it was too coarse for leather writing. A new improvement of the ballpoint pen was invented 3 years later in 1943. Interestingly enough, it was created by a Hungarian newspaper editor, which he spent most of his time doing some journaling. He was forced to use a fountain pen to write his journal, which caused a lot of inconvenience, such as smudging, and the ink was rendering the passage and caused the text unreadable. However, he noted the newspaper print by his publisher didn't have the same problem because the ink dries and set much faster when using the special ink that print newspaper. So he called his brother Guayo, which is a chemist, to develop a special ink for the fountain pen. With the success of the invention of the ink, a most popular brand pen of ballpoint pen called Bic Crystal was founded in 1960. The Bic Crystal industrial design has been acknowledged by the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. As part of the museum permanent collection, its hexagon shape was taken from the wooden pencil and yaw and economical use of plastic along with strings and the 3 grips point giving high writing stability. The pen's transparent polystyrene barrier shows the ink level. A tiny hole in the barrier's body maintains the same air pressure inside and outside the pen. The thick ink flow down due to the gravity formed a tube inside the barrel to feed the ball bearing, which spins freely within a brass and nickel silver tips. In 1961, the stainless steel ball was replaced with much harder tough-strength carburet, which is vitrified by heat. Then ground down to mild to accuracy to 0.1 micrometer between spinning plates coated with industrial diamond abrasive. 699-1, the pen's streamlined polypropylene cap has a small hole to reduce the risk of suffocation if the cap was accidentally inhaled. The Fisher Space Pen was invented in 1969, which is the luxury version of the ball pen. It gives the black ink and has the medium points. And this is a pen that astronaut could carry into space because you can write upside down or underwater in a very extreme temperature from negative 30 degree to 250 degree. And it could write 3 times longer than any average of the pen. And this is the only pen that NASA has approved has been all manner that the spaceflight original astronomer could use in the space. From a very simple reed pen to a very well-designed Fisher Space Pen. Did you guys have a favorite pen that you always use, no matter what? This is my collection of the pen I've been used every single day. Like I will use the marker to highlight important stuff in my notes, and I like to use pencil to take my tasks. And I will use a Sharpie with a strong color to mark an important idea or necessary. And I just found out the TD Bank is a very nice ballpoint pen I would like to use every time if I want to write something real fast. I think today the pen has been very personalized and become a very wonderful tool for designer and artists to use. And I think I was really appreciate the design of the pen that gives me a lot of opportunity to catch the thought. Thank you for watching our video.